Hey everybody, Exalibur here, and I've got an unboxing for you. It's another Kickstarter unboxing, and this one is from Mayday Games. And let's go ahead and pull this out. I already opened it, and we found an issue with the box. Look at that. Well, never fear, this damaged box by the USPS has been replaced. And then here is the upgrade pack for the first edition, and while the box was crushed a little bit, I think everything's okay in there. And Mayday Games sent a new box. Let's get this open with a much better copy of the game. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this. Maybe at the end we'll go ahead and open up this one and see if there's anything salvageable. And we're also going to open up this guy. So let's go here. This is One Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows. It is the expansion, the sequel to One Deck Dungeon. It is very much well sought after. And there we go. You can see it in all of its glory. Now, this is for 1 to 2 players, 30 minutes or so, 14 plus, as was the first one. And I believe they can actually be combined with the first one. And this is by Chris Cieslik. I can't pronounce his last name. I apologize, Chris. But let's go ahead and open it up. It opens very easily. It's not a tight box at all. Inside we have the One Deck Dungeon rulebook. And let's go ahead and we'll just flip through this here. And it's got all the rules for Forest of Shadows and everything like that. I believe this is a standalone. You do not need the original game to play, but it's nice to have it. And then you can see it's got everything in there that you would expect a rulebook to have. Boss fights, campaign mode, and it's got 4-player rules. So you can have up to 4 people play, and you've got hybrid dungeons and mixing sets and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. That's the part that I really liked. So I'm going to put these in cover. You have yourself a set of pad. There you go. These are your campaign character sheets, and there's a few of them. Inside that we find our tokens. We've got hearts, we've got discs, we've got cubes. You should know what those do. They're about the same as before. And then we have our characters. Let's go ahead. We can open these up and pull them out. And I believe we also have our bosses in here. Put that with the rest. Let's see here. So there's Hunter. And there's first and second. Or 1 player and 2 player. I believe that's how that works. Then we have our Druid for 1 player and 2 player. And we have our Warden. And these are all new characters. And you can actually use the characters from the first edition. That's why we have this here. So we have our Warden, 1 player and 2 player. And we have our Slayer, 1 player and 2 player. And then finally we have our Alchemist, 1 player and 2 player. Oh yeah, sorry. Kickstarter bonus gave us Kalyana, 1 player, 2 player. And then we got our turn reference and our boss fight instructions. So that is that. And then we have a bunch of dice, lovely, lovely dice. As you can see here, we have each die represents each of the stats that you see here. So as you can see, we've got fighting, we've got speed, magic, and that's our health. That's how much it takes to kill you. And then we've got the dice that match. You've got your yellows, your pinks, your blues, and your black dice, just like in One Deck Dungeon. So you've got more dice. And then here are all the cards. 1 deck's worth of cards. These are going to be sleeved. Luckily, they look like they're 8.5 by 11. Not 8.5 by 11. They're 63.5 by 88 millimeters. We're going to test that out with the handy dandy calipers here. And that is indeed, it says 89, but 88 and will work. And then we go like so, and that is definitely 63.5 to 64. So these are standard size cards, and we would be able to use like Mayday Games 7077s or 7041s or 7105s, or they're anything that is made for Magic. The Gathering will work as well. So you have your Ultra Pros and Dragon Shields and stuff like that. So these are all your monsters, and these are the dungeon doors if you're familiar with the game. So we'll just go through a couple of them. We got a Gnoll, we've got a Wisp, we'll go through, and then here's another Gnoll. Oh, that was fortuitous. And then a Trickster, and we'll skip ahead. We'll go into locations. There's a Vortex of Stone. And then here we are. We are at some locations. We have Mudlands, because this is in the forest. It's not an actual dungeon. A Realm of Venom, and the Vile Roots, and so on and so forth. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different locations. And then on top of that, we have our stairs and some skills. Skill 1, item 1, stuff like that. Item 3, skill 3. Item 4, 5, 7, 5, blah, 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 blah. Potions. And now the Hordes of the Shadows. Okay, and here we have... Woo! Look at that. We've got Hordes of the Shadows. That's for a 4-player, and that's use this side if both dungeon decks are from the same set. And then we have the other side. Use this side if playing a hybrid dungeon. So it handles the hybrid dungeons and everything. And we have a poison reference and hybrid dungeon reference. And then we have the Phoenix's Den and the Phoenix. Now, if we take a look at the other location cards, they're right here. You'll see that we have monsters on the other side. The Phoenix was a special. So let's see here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you'll see that we have monsters on the backs of these. So we have Indrax, we've got Fire Giant, we've got Corrupted Tree, and we've got Poison Elemental, and the Mud Golem. So those are all the bosses. This is Kickstarter stretch reward. So we have all these wonderful new cards, new everything, that we can plop together and have fun with. Now, that's the base set. The only thing left is this shipping insert, which is going to be thrown away. These boxes are in no shape or form. Well, you might be able to fit sleeved cards in here. Chances are it may not work. We'll have to see. So let's go ahead and the plastic on this is rather loose, so I'm going to use my knife of face maiming to start the cut. There we go. And let's get the expansion. Not the expansion, the upgrade kit. Now, this is pretty banged up too. You can see the USPS has gotten really, really crummy and crappy recently. I don't know why. And luckily, the parts that are damaged did not extend to the cards in this. But it was damaged enough so that... There we go. Yeah, these are all actually perfectly awesome. So we'll go ahead and open up these. And with the new rules system and everything from the Forest of Shadows, they had to upgrade each of the characters. So we get the same thing from one deck dungeon. The Mage, the Warrior, the Rogue, the Archer, and the Paladin. We have 1-player and 2-player sides. Now, it would have been really awesome if we had male and female sides for all these cards. We have a turn reference and a boss fight reference, just like with the others. I'll just set that there. And then we have the updated cards. So these are the same cards as one deck dungeon, just updated with the new rules and everything, and iconography and all that. The knife of face maiming is going to be my friend here again. As I make that first incision, I feel like I'm a surgeon, cutting for the very first time. Now, unfortunately, this is a pretty janky way to package cards. Again, I like where you can pull the little ribbon and get the cards out that way, because some of the cards are a little rough. But you have your basic enemies and all that from the dungeon, and the force wall and traps and stuff like that. You get flame beetles, and we have our pit of spikes. That's a trap, and here's an ogre. Let's see here. Do we... Oh. We've got a bear trap, or bear traps. It's not just one. Then, alright, then we have our original ones. We've got the Dragon's Cave with the dragon on the back. We have the Yeti's Cavern with the Yeti on the back. The Hydra's Reef. And, of course, there's a Hydra. Then we have our Lich's Tomb, and we've got the Lich. Finally, the Minotaur's Maze, and the Minotaur. And then, at the back, we have our stairs, and our items, item cards, and skill cards, and stuff like that, that you can see, and basic skills and everything. So, it's everything the first set had, just redone up so that it works better with the new stuff from Forest of Shadows. And it should sit in here sideways. There we go. So that is that. That's awesome. These boxes are completely and utterly jankified. If you happen to get a damaged box, just contact Chris through Kickstarter, and he's awesome. He will ship that out. Now I'm going to take a look at this and see how bad the damage is in here. It's... When I was heartbroken when I saw it. I didn't get a tracking email and all that. And Chris mentioned everything in an update about that. So the box is not all that good. The instructions were completely destroyed. Well, folded up. Yeah. These are all bent up now. I could use these instead of the good ones. You can fold them, and I mean, they're still usable. They were just all bent up. Now the sadness happens. The character cards completely bent. They might be able to be reformed, but you can see the crease, and yeah, you can see the crease and how badly it's all damaged. Now, this is something that I would have been very, very disappointed if it wasn't replaced. This was unfortunately a bad thing. Good thing is I got double the tokens, and the dice, the box was so messed up that the dice split out and the bag ripped. I don't know what the USPS was thinking. That, hey, let's just destroy this thing beyond any known thing. And the cards themselves, they were damaged a little bit. You can see a dent right here. But overall, the cards are all right. I mean, I could probably gift these to somebody who doesn't have the Forest of Shadows, but overall they're okay. But they're damaged. You're definitely going to see them. They're definitely marked, so you can see it damaged right here. And I would call these a wash as well. I wouldn't gift these to anybody. And just so you can see, this is this is how the box came in. So everything in here is pretty much going to go away. It's not even worth it. I might use the box to practice on restoration of boxes. That would probably be a good idea to save this. So I'm going to save this just for that purpose, and I'll see if I can't restore the box. Might be something I can do there. But overall, there's just, it's good to have spares of this, of these paper, of this pad of paper pad. I can't speak. I don't know why. Probably because I haven't really done a video in a while because of chest colds and vacation and everything. But I can tell you something. When it's shipped properly, you get it awesome. And I'm very happy to have One Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows. As always, this is Excalibur, and I am out.